Welcome to Who's Who of Asian Americans in Houston. I'm your host, Jimmy Ma. It's with great pleasure I want to introduce our special guest tonight, Kenneth Li.
Hi, Jimmy. How's it going? How's everybody doing?
Now, Kenneth is very well known in the Asian community. In Southwest Houston, he is a role model for many, many people. He has numerous titles. There's so many titles I can't even read them all. And he's contributed greatly to the growth of Houston, and not just Southwest Houston. I want to ask Kenneth a few questions for our audience.
Sure.
First of all, what defines Houston's Chinatown?
Well, I think Chinatown is really more like a marketing term, really, rather than a geographical term. Because if you go to every major international city in the world, you'll find out there's a Chinatown in that city. Houston is such a diversified international city. Of course, Houston needs a Chinatown, And Chinatown, I think, is a term to represent how Houston international is and how Houston, the diversity is, And of course, Chinese is the first immigrants who came to Houston, like many other Houstonians, to build up this city. And that's why I think Houston, of course, we need a Chinatown here.
When you say diversity, Houston, everyone says Houston has great diversity.
Yes.
But if we're in Woodlands or we're in Montrose, we really don't see diversity. Yeah. What do you mean? How do you define that?
Well, I think that diversity occurred really, I can feel that when I came to Houston in the early 80s. And at that time, Houston is not so diversified. I remember there's only about 25,000 Chinese Americans here. Now we say we have over almost like 250,000, right? The growth is tremendous. But when you talk about the diversity, really, you have to come to probably the Southwest Houston area. I think the main reason is we have the highest density of the apartments, multifamily, and then we have many diversified ethnic retails serving a different culture. How diversified in the Southwest area? If you are looking at District J or F of the city of Houston, there's over 110 languages were spoken, and then it's the most probably diversified area in one of probably in the U.S. And that diversity really, when no matter how well you live in Houston, when you come to this area, you can really experience South Asian, even some Middle East, and then Korean, Vietnamese, Chinese, all kind of diversified, food or whatever, and that really shows how diversified Houston is.
That's right, because our image, most visitors' image of Houston is, our rodeo days, cowboy culture. Yes. But the true reflection of today's Houston, of this century, is actually in Southwest Houston. We have the Gandhi District, we have the Vietnam Town, Chinatown, and for the younger generation, it's exotic. We don't have to leave town to explore and experience new food, new taste.
That's right.
And this is our pride and joy. This is where I bring my guests to show off Houston to them.
That's right.
I mean, we have great food here, and we're getting the recognition that we deserve.
Yes.
And speaking of that also, a lot of people don't know that this great boom of food culture started with Chinatown on Bel Air with a single shopping square called Daiho Square.
Yes.
And back in the early 1980s, when I was a child, I remember Daiho Square.
Yes.
That was the first one in Southwest Houston, because before it was in downtown.
That's right.
Well, people didn't know that you're the one that started Daiho Square back then.
Yeah. Well, it is a very interesting story. Why is it we start in the Southwest Houston? Actually, for every new immigrant, when you come to a new place, if you want to start a new business or entrepreneur, you need to find a spot. And then Southwest Houston in the 80s is really, probably a prime example of the new middle class with a lot of professional, a lot of people from out of town to reside. And downtown is more like attraction to the people from everywhere. but the downtown at that time was saturated. So you need to find a place for the newcomers, and then that's why we're lucky to find out at that time on Bel Air there's a small tract of the land that we can develop, and then we can start with the first Asian grocery store to have some hometown food to really, serve, the people who also come, either from Taiwan, from China, at that time, we can serve them, and they are all living around this area, like Sharpstown, Alief, and Sugarland. So I think that's a natural place,
For you, it's easy to say, but for your vision, back then there was a very seedy and rundown part of town, and 10% occupancy rate. Yes. And you go over to Bel Air from Beltway to 59 now. Goodness, that is as vibrant as anywhere else. You also mentioned to me earlier, in your capacity as the chairman of Greater Sharpstown Management District.
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit more about why that matters?
Okay, when I serve as at the City Planning Commission, and I learned one thing is really shocked me is, from my Asian background is we always thinking everything we have as an entrepreneur, we have to do everything by ourselves, and we should do our own investment, do everything ourselves. But by meeting with all the developers, with the mainstream, I found out actually, there's a more successful way is you can work with the city, work with the state, and then to get the government help, and then to work with the development is much easier.
It's mutually beneficial.
Yes, actually, you're right. And that's why I'm thinking, well, why don't we create a management district through the state, and then so we can have a revenue, we can have a goal to see how we're going to improve and benefit the district. And then Chinatown is be part of that. The Greater Sharpstown Management District was created by the state through the petition of all the commercial property owners. And through that, we finally got approved. And then what we did is we have a full-time staff to serve, on the landscape, the safety, and the marketing, all this kind of thing, to aid the promotion of the area. Of course, that's including the Chinatown, the university and hospital, and then South Asian other district. So it's very diversified district.
Because what you told me made sense is that a lot of new immigrants rely, especially Asian Americans, we're self-reliant. We fund ourselves. Yes. We go to our own banks, but we're capped and limited by the influence, especially with real estate. Instead, we're able now, because of your efforts, we're able to use state and city funding to help and grow together.
Yes.
Instead of asking for subsidy, we do it ourselves.
That's right.
A lot of people don't know the recent reconstruction of Bel Air Boulevard, the widening project.
Yes.
We did not use any money from the city or the state.
Yeah.
It was from. Could you tell us about that?
Yes. Well, for instance, a lot of times city have their CIPS program, use the tax dollar, or use the city budget. And then I helped to create a tax reinvestment zone. So when the property value goes up, it will retain some of the revenue from the tax dollars to retain in the area for the infrastructure improvement. And that's why I petitioned to the city, and the city approved that, and to help for the construction without any extra burden. For the local business people.
It is now a very good example to show other areas of town how to revitalize and how to be self-reliant and to improve everyone's livelihood.
Yes.
And that actually ties in to your personal philosophy. As a Houstonian, you went to HBU. You're an alumni at Houston Baptist University.
That's right. Yes.
And that's very unique because you've told me a lot about your Confucianism, Taoism, and with the Christian University's background, that kind of created a very new, unique mix of philosophy that you have.
Well, I think really it is. I just feel I'm lucky because I was born in Asia, right? And then I've been a Houstonian because I live in Houston since the 80s, and I experienced so many cultures. And then I tried to adapt that, and then found out, the East and the West, they all have their own very good, those cultures that really, and I enjoy that, and I learn from that, and I think they have no conflicts. They can always complement each other. So This thing, I think, I really, I just feel I'm blessed. I can combine all these different culture and philosophy to get to that. Yes.
Yeah, well, with that also explains a lot about why you're always giving back to the community. I know you're active in basically almost every charitable event that is in your district, but you also step out of Southwest Houston. You try to immerse yourself in mainstream, in planning committees with the city, with the state. You even lead trade tours overseas to bring money back into Houston.
Yeah.
What you've given to Houston is more above and beyond what you needed to do. But you mentioned something that was very humorous to me. You said that I asked you what your hobby was. What is your interest outside of, say, real estate developing? What was your answer?
I think it's a community work,
Being involved in the community is your hobby.
I spend too much time, but anything like that, because I feel, I'm so blessed that, to be in Houston, and Houston is such a great city and a good place to do my business, to make friends, to start my family. And when you have really know good things, you want to promote that. You want to tell all the people you know. And that's why I always, if I go overseas, I always promote Houston. And then, I always try to see how I can introduce our community, to the whole Houston. Because, even though we are within the same city, there's so much things we can learn from each other, And then I also would like to encourage not only, the newcomers, to learn more about what Houston about. And also, I want to know, I want to promote to Houston, in your backyard, there's such a wonderful, diversified district that you can experience all the food from all over the country, all over the world, actually.
Over the world.
International food. All the foodies, authentic food,
yes.
And Houston is well known for that.
Oh, we're good.
Yeah.
That's interesting. We're going to take a really quick break, and after the break, we'll continue our conversation with Kenneth Li. Welcome back to Who's Who of Asian Americans in Houston. I'm your host, Jimmy Ma. Let's welcome back our guest, Kenneth Li.
Hi, Jimmy. Yes.
Kenneth and I had a very long, interesting conversation earlier. Kenneth witnessed the growth of Southwest Houston. He was a pioneer in developing the distressed areas. We want to continue what we said earlier. I want to find out more from Kenneth what his vision will be and what your hopes and dreams are for Houston, for Sharpstown, for all of Houston in the next decade, in the next 20 years. Because we witnessed the recession in the 80s.
Yes.
We went through the 2009 financial crisis,
yes.
And yet Southwest Houston has stood strong. Yes. Why is that?
Well, I think that's a very interesting thing, and there's a saying, there'll be no recession in every Chinatown in the world. Because I think one thing is whenever it's a local economy is very important. But when you involve with the international community, sometimes it's almost like recession-proof. Whenever there's a crisis, the Chinese always say, then there's an opportunities, right? And of course, for every investors, they are looking for opportunities. When the market is too hot, you have less opportunities. When the market is not so hot, you have a lot of opportunities. And that's why you're looking at the Chinatown. It is probably one of the largest, in the contiguous space or the real estate in the whole North America. The reason is whenever there's a kind of economic slowdown, well, you can see this amazing either local or foreign investment just pouring into this area to either build or acquisition, and that's why you just mentioned in the late 80s. There's a lot of people from East Coast, West Coast, and even from Taiwan or Hong Kong to purchase a lot of good properties. And also in the 2008 when there's a slowdown on the financing, a lot of things, you see it's amazing that on Bel Air you have probably one of the most active economic growth You can see there's so many retail centers being built, new construction going on. You wouldn't see that in other parts of the Houston. To me, I mean, Chinatown just symbolizes a life center for the Chinese American who live in the Houston area. And they all come to Houston, not only they live in Houston, maybe they live in Oklahoma City, in Louisiana. This is their downtown. You know, they come here not only just for food, they come here for business, for culture, a lot of even other things they have to do. So I think that set a very good example for the future of our city. We are a very international city. It happened in the Southwest Houston, and it can be happening everywhere, as long as there's an opportunity there.
It seems like that is a very big part of your goals, and why you spend so much time is you're uplifting. You want other communities in Houston, other parts of town that may be distressed, that might be a little run down, to use the success of Southwest Houston as a model. Because you could replicate that. Because this is a new economy. The new world economy is fluid. Yes. There's funds coming in from Asia, from South America. Mm-hmm. And Houston, like you've said many times, is a gateway city.
Yes.
We have direct flights to any major city in Asia, yes, to major cities in South America, yes, Europe. And the constant immigration, even in the 80s, from East Coast and West Coast coming here. And now they're still coming. Retirees, we don't have state income tax. We have so many advantages that we can't even list them. Yes. And then now we have additional immigrants coming from Asia, yes, because we went through an unprecedented growth in a lot of third world economies. Mm-hmm. They've increased their spending power. And we as Houstonians, and you've mentioned that to me also, that we need to be prepared for these new consumers. Yes. Whether you're in real estate or in retail, because this is the future. Yes. In Houston, we're ready. We have the structure, we have the resources, we have the great people. That's we have great weather. I mean, everything is ready. We just need to promote it and let people know to come here.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Yes.
You've led a lot of effort to do this. Yes. In your capacity as the chairman of the, well, actually, you were appointed by former mayor as the first Asian American commission member of the City Planning Commission. Yes. That shows how much you do know about real estate. And you also were a board member of Sharpstown Economic Development Authority and Southwest Houston Redevelopment Authority. And currently, you are the chairman of Sharpstown Management District, which is and you're also the chair-elect of the Mayor's International Trade Development Council of Asia Pacific region. Yes. So in serving these official capacities, which are state-funded or city-funded, you're doing this for the greater good of the community. It's not just limited to Chinatown or the Asian American part of town. It is to uplift every resident of this district. Yes. Could you tell our audience, what do you see for the Sharpstown area in the next 5 years, 10 years, or the next 20 years? Yes. Where do you see we could go from here?
Well, to me, I mean, I joined all these as a volunteer is because I wish that I can take the lead and encourage more Asians to serve on those positions, because even though Houston is good, you have to promote and market to the right people. And then I just feel Houston is good, so I'm not afraid to let more people to know and to come to Houston. And Sharpstown, the location-wise, I just feel it is a great location, and then it has a lot of redevelopment opportunities, and it's so diversified. It will welcome all kinds of newcomers. Even though you have money or you have no money, you can have a great start over here. In the next 5 to 10 years, I think Sharpstown will go to the next level. Because of the booming economy in the Chinatown and in the 59 corridor, Houston Baptist University found out it is such a great location. They're going to spend about $160 million redevelopment project, to build a first-class facilities. Memorial Hermann Hospital, I mean, they are doing great services. So all these kind of things, and we have a great mall need to be maybe redeveloped, rebranded, and I think there's tons of opportunities for the newcomers. As I just feel this is like a beginning of a new level, and then and I truly believe that we're going to see more prosperity and more economic growth in this district.
And your goal is to increase the vibrancy of the area.
Definitely, because I'm thinking, and that would take the lead. Actually, the Sharpstown district, if you check the appraisal assessed value, it's one of the top on the value enhancement in the past 2 years.
That's actually very shocking because as native Estonians, I remember in the late 80s, growing up in Sugar Land, I had to go to Sharpstown Mall. That was their destination mall.
Yeah.
And I remember what a nice area it was. The schools were good, and these are all middle-class bungalows and individual residents.
Yes.
And slowly it deteriorated a little bit. And now you ask Estonians about Sharpstown area, the first connotation is a negative connotation.
Yeah.
But in reality, that is not true. Because if you look at the numbers, like you said just now,
that's right.
the tax numbers are good. We just have to give it a chance. We need to have not just outside investments. We can have our own Estonians. We have enough Estonians to really pour some resources into it and to change it and to improve it back to where it was. Because 59 alone, the traffic volume on that highway going from downtown to Sugar Land, that is one of the highest traffic area in Houston.
You're right. Yes, absolutely.
And there's no reason. And there's only 10 minutes away from the city of Bel Air inside the Loop. Mm-hmm. I mean, that is actually a very convenient area to be.
You're right, Jimmy. Location.
In real estate,
I still believe that.
That's all there is to it.
Sharpstown has a unique, excellent opportunities.
Just like 20 years ago when you started Daiho Square. Because to me, these are memories of Estonians growing up. I mean, that is the first place we know of. Mm-hmm. And slowly we see Daiho Square went from that block. For our audience members that do not know Daiho Square, that is currently the shopping center called, what supermarket is
Welcome.
it right now? It's called Welcome Supermarket now.
Yes.
And that area is the epicenter of all of developments. And if you're a foodie, then you know that is the epicenter of foodie movement in Houston, where all the chefs eat. There's hundreds of restaurants, authentic restaurants, and this is where people do their shopping and do their food massages. We have Golden Supermarket, we have Dawn's Cafe. I mean, those areas are it's always been the epicenter. And Kenneth is the one that had the vision and the guts to go ahead and start it there when it was empty lots, when there was not a lot of business activity. And he was able to withstand that. And now your next project is Sharpstown. You could see that 20 years ago, Bel Air, Chinatown area, you could see 20 years later, the vibrancy of the Sharpstown area. So we have to have faith. We have to contribute, every Estonian have to contribute their share to recreate that.
Yes, I think, Jimmy, you see, it's well said. We should hire you as the spokesperson for Sharpstown. But you're truly, I mean, really, I think this is a thing that we need to let all the Houstonians to know about that, all the people who come to Houston to experience, how international that Houston is.
How much diversity. Look, we're Estonians. You love Houston probably more than anybody I know. And I think I love Houston more than anybody else I know. Yeah. So I think the love for a hometown, for a city, is to see it grow together. Sure. And your philosophy, like you said, is you're uplifting. You want to see success from everyone.
Yes.
Not just for yourself.
No. Yeah. Definitely no.
And that is also part of how you grew up, the multicultural background you grew up.
Yeah.
I mean, you hit the trifecta. Being Chinese, but growing up in Taiwan, essentially, born in Taiwan, and then going to kind of preschool and elementary in Hong Kong. So you were baptized by all three cultures, and then going to HBU, which is a Baptist university. Yes. So you got the best of both worlds.
I did. Yes.
I also want you to tell our audience a little bit about what are some of the charitable organizations you're involved with. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're involved in a lot of them. Could you tell us a little bit about the ones that you truly want to promote right now?
Well, right now I'm serving as the vice chair for the CCC, the Chinese Community Center, which is celebrate its 36 years. And I just feel CCC grow as the community to serve the diversity of our community to the newcomers. It's not only to the Chinese community anymore. Mm-hmm. From the kindergarten right now all to the seniors. But I think that reflect that we are not only bring the economic value, we try to bring our Asian culture as a bridge with the Western, and hopefully that can help. And then this charitable as non-profit organization, serving about 10,000 families. And then they also is probably the largest United Way agency to serving the Asian community. What they did is the accumulation of all the efforts of the professionals, all the people, to bring their resource energy to help the community grow. Now it's not only the community, but the entire Houston area. So I think that's as a good example that how the Asian can serve the community well, like any other group.
That's true, because CCC, for most Houston Asian Americans growing up in the last 25 years, it's an essential part of the community.
Yes.
The programs provided went from 2 years old all the way to 90 years old.
That's right.
For elderly programs to learn Chinese. We do have a lot of Houstonians going to CCC to learn Mandarin as a second language.
Yes.
So it is an essential part of the fabric of the fiber of communities, the backbone. What a lot of people don't see is how important it is. Because without that, we will lose a part of our diversity, lose a big part of our culture.
That's right.
It's not just catering to Chinese Americans, it caters to every Houstonian, every American. And so CCC, the location is kind of back there, so you really do have to let everybody know where it is.
That's right.
Now, Kenneth, I also want to ask you a little bit about your personal projects. You have, I don't know, I can't step foot on Bel Air Boulevard without stepping on some of your properties. If you decide to set up a toll booth, you'll probably retire right now, because I can't drive down Bel Air without passing through your store. So where do you see, this is for a younger generation, is where do you see the real estate business going? Where do you see Houston going the next decade or so? If I were to invest in real estate, what is the area I should contribute my efforts to?
Well, I think for the newcomers or for the young professional, you are in the real estate business, you are probably sitting on a gold mine, because we as the old timer, we set up the foundation, and then they say the Chinese super consumer power. There's a really emergent, a world class of the consumer power, not only real estate, not only investment, but all kinds of things that they want to explore. And Houston, we have such a affordable place, such a lot of development opportunity, because we have no zoning, and then we have quite a few revenues, resources, for newcomers to develop the project they want to do. So to me, you just need to be very, knowledgeable, like every professional is, and you have to be really, ethical, or I shouldn't say ethical, but you have to have your own integrity. And then if you're thinking this is a job, you say it's your business, you're looking for a long term. If you make people successful, you'll be success naturally, And that's how I got into the business. I'm in the grocery business originally.
Yes.
But when I using a real estate professional, and I found out, well, I like that. I want to help people not only to find out to build their homes, and also to build up their commercial property and do the investment. If we're doing that, and people feel a success, and you're surrounded by the successful people, I think you're naturally you succeed. That's
truly how you not just say it. You really do live that life. You instill integrity and trust in people. You help everyone achieve their American dream. So I really appreciate your help. Please continue helping the next generation. It's always been a pleasure talking to you, Kenneth. I think you know that.
My pleasure.
And I want our viewers to know that, please, anytime you have questions, Kenneth always has open door to help the younger generation. Whether you're Asian American or not, as long as you're Houstonian, we can seek help from Kenneth Li. And I want to thank you all for tuning in, and don't forget to watch our next episode of Who's Who of Asian American Houstonians. Thank you for watching.